All right, good evening. Today is Thursday, December 13th, 2018. I am Kim Matina, the host of the Sweet Talk, and I am so happy to have Dr. Monica Burns on the show today. Dr. Monica Burns, she is from Jersey.
Mhm.
So, heads up for Jersey girls. Dr. Burns is an ed tech consultant, and she does a lot of presentations and travels around and trains other school districts on ed tech. And she is also the author of Tasks Before Apps. So that's a really great book. If you're not in the market for a book over this winter break, that might be one that you should put on your list. So Dr. Monica Burns, I'm going to hand it over to you so that you can introduce yourself even more.
Sure. So I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening. I am home in New Jersey today, which doesn't happen as often as I probably would like it to. It's been a wonderfully busy fall. I'm jumping around to lots of places and working with lots of different schools and regional events. So I am a former New York City public school teacher. So I taught in New York City schools for a number of years, and I've been out of the classroom for a few years now, writing like my books, including Tasks Before Apps, and on my blog, classtechtips.com, and then sharing and supporting the work that teachers are doing in their classrooms. So spending a lot of time with kids. Just yesterday, demoing lessons and showing off how different things work so teachers can see it side by side in action, but then also kind of speaking more widely about the use of education technology in different settings.
So one thing I'd like to ask you, Dr. Burns, is I know, I'm more of a Google for Education person. I try to focus more on, Google apps, but I know, other great third-party apps are out there that can be used in the classroom. I know you're an Apple distinguished educator as well.
Mhm.
What do you focus your trainings on, or what do you encourage people to use or try as far as ed tech?
So I came from a one-to-one classroom, so one-to-one iPad, and I'm an Apple Distinguished Educator. I actually did a Instagram post earlier today about being an ADE and kind of a shout out to some people. But I primarily work with schools with a mix of devices. So I will go to schools that are Chromebook one-to-one or that are iPad one-to-one, or just yesterday in a school that has a mix of both of them. So more of my work focuses on device neutral or device agnostic types of activities that can happen when students have access to digital tools. So sometimes we're working with an open-ended creation tool like the Spark tools, or like Book Creator, or something where everyone can get on no matter what's in their pocket. And we're talking about best ways to check for understanding. So we might look at Seesaw or Nearpod. So when my work with schools is getting started, I'm always looking to see, what do you have access to, because we want to be realistic. I want to show up and share strategies that go along with the devices and the connectivity that you have. But my work is more broad, kind of above the tool. So although I always spotlight tools like we'll talk about tonight, my work with that Tasks Before Apps is really about saying, what is your learning goal? What are you looking to accomplish here? And then how can technology really elevate and energize those experiences? So although sometimes I'm called, the iPad lady when I go to a school that associates me with, because they're iPads, because they're one-to-one. Other times it's the lady who knows all about the Chromebooks, who's going to help us with this today, right? So it just really depends on the environment, what I'm kind of associated with when it comes to a device kind of connection.
Because I know, like reading your blog and following you on Instagram, I know you're always pushing out Book Creator and Adobe Spark,
Mhm.
Seesaw also.
Mhm.
But do you tend to, and this is just me, my curiosity, but
Mhm.
do you tend to push those apps because they're both available on iPads and the web?
Absolutely. So, of course, when I work with schools that have a very specific type of adoption, so, if I'm working with a school that's all Chromebooks in the Google ecosystem, right, we're going to look a little bit more at what creation might look like with slides, or what it might look like with docs, or some of the other things they might already be inside of. I do a lot of K-12 regional trainings where a county might bring me in, or a conference might bring me in, and I don't know who's going to be in the room. right? As much as I like to know everything about everyone when I'm doing a more thoughtful long-term school commitment, if I am going somewhere and I just can't get a full read of everyone before I get there, I want to be as broad as possible so that they can tailor strategies to what they have. You know, there's nothing worse when you walk into a session and it's too specific for what might make sense for you. Like, I want to be able that everyone comes in is going to feel comfortable and walk away with something. So I tend to lean towards the tools you just mentioned that are available and work really well on every device, right? So part of it, of course, makes my life easier. So everyone in the room is happy because they can use Seesaw with their kindergartners, like I did this week, work with a group of kindergartners, or they could use it with their high school students. They could use Nearpod with pre-K students, like I've sat on a circle on a rug with pre-K students or with adult learners, right? And no matter what they have. So I tend to lean towards those devices when I'm sharing more broadly. But of course, if I go someplace that is really looking to leverage a specific tool, say they want all of their teachers to become Apple Teacher Certified, right? We're going to spend more time talking about those same creation and formative assessment strategies just inside those other tools. Because the tools will change, right? But the best practices, you know, that's really what I'm looking to have everyone experience when we're together.
Yeah, I totally agree because the tools, you can't keep up with the tools. The
Mhm.
tools change, and it really comes down to the learning goal and the content and how you're really implementing it with technology. You know, so I do agree with you there. I have a hard time keeping up with the tools myself. It's
Mhm.
just the rate of change is so quickly that it's just impossible sometimes. So, and you have to be well-rounded, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, it becomes a challenge at that point. But anyway, I
Mhm.
wanted to know, so you're going to talk about sharing Adobe Spark with
Mhm.
Google Slides.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about that because I've dipped my toes into Adobe Spark, and I thought that it was a very powerful tool, but I really don't. I'm a beginner with
Mhm.
it, so I'm really curious to see how you can use it with your classroom and with your students.
Absolutely. I'm really pumped about this strategy. It's one that I model all the time at NICE a few weeks ago. So at the New York State's, their ISTE affiliate, at TIES, which is Minnesota's state technology conference, which I was at earlier this week. I often share this workflow when I am with groups of teachers with lots of different devices, especially when I know that everyone is Google friendly and wants to do some things within the Google ecosystem. And I'm also sharing, you know, the Spark tools, which kind of add another layer to what you might be used to doing. I don't mean you as much as someone might be used to doing, right, inside of the Google space. So I brought it next to me so I wouldn't forget to show it. So I've got a new book with Ben Forda. This is where everything looks backwards and I have to lean up and down when I'm trying to make the webcam work, all about ways to inject creativity in the classroom. So in the book, we talk about lots of lesson ideas that connect to different content areas that can really be scaled for K-12. But what we'll look at together tonight is more of a workflow that you could do no matter what your kids are making. So I don't care if it's a movie, if it's a graphic poster, right? It's a poster they're making, if it is a website they're making with Spark Page. The workflow that we're going to do is going to be more about sharing that final product no matter what it is. So is it okay for me to share my screen and jump in?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and take us over to Adobe Spark. Now, you could do this on an iPad too in one of the Spark apps, but I am here on my Chrome web browser today. And you can see I use it all the time. I'm already logged in with my Google single sign-on. My little face is there. But what we're going to do is we're going to create something today that we can then share in Google Slides. So I'm already logged in and I'll share with you some resources of where to go to like get your whole school set up, including your kids who are under 13. But once I'm logged in and I'm in my projects where everything lives, you kind of get a sneak peek at some posts that are coming up later this month. But if I hit the plus sign, I can create a graphic, which is Spark Post, a web page, which is Spark Page, or a video, which is Spark Video. So I'm going to make a video with us together today. And what I often love sharing are spotlighting favorite places. So I'm going to share with you a video that I'm going to make right now together all about the Badlands, since I have some fun footage on my phone from a trip there a couple summers ago. So this is what you'll see when you go to make a video. You can choose a story template, and these are awesome. So they will help you build out your story. So you can use them for any of the type of things you see here. The hero's journey, that one's really fun if you are going to do something that's going to be a take on a biography project or something like that. But we'll actually just start from scratch for today, just for the sake of taking you through a couple things. So I'm going to make a Spark video that is going to feature the Badlands, like Badlands National Park. So I see this plus sign, and every time I see it, it lets me add something to the screen. So I'm going to hit text, and I'm just going to type in the Badlands, which is my title, and then I can click and hold the orange button to record my voice. Badlands National Park must be added to your summer travel list. So it's going to grab those 6 seconds and add them here. Now, if you follow along with my blog, Class Tech Tips, you know that these are the colors and that's the logo on my blog. And that's because I actually have the premium features. So I upgraded for the premium features, which a lot of bloggers and small businesses do. Schools can actually get all the premium features for free if they get their domain verified, and I'll share a link to help you do that. But if I click here, I can even turn my logo off if I wanted to, and I can click and choose a new theme. And this theme will actually go along with my whole entire project. I'm going to go ahead and choose title, which is one of the new themes, and I'll do something that's a little more earthy toned, like the Badlands there. And so as I go through, I can keep adding slides, video, text, or photo, or even an icon to each slide. If I hit layout, it lets me change the layout. So maybe I want 2 things on here. So maybe here I want to put an icon. So if I search for something like South Dakota, where the Badlands are, I'll see all of these icons which connect to the noun project. So it's like a search within the noun project, and it'll actually be credited at the very end of the video automatically. So the reason this is orange and white is because my theme is orange and white. So that's going to dictate the colors all the way through. I could change it if I wanted to, but it's going to be, I'm going to be sticking with it the whole time. And then over here, I could add something like text, like maybe South Dakota, and maybe I talk again on this slide, or maybe I just change it so it lingers for just a couple seconds, long enough for you to read it. When I go to add another slide, I can add photos. So I can find free photos by searching for something like South Dakota and pull in a picture of the Badlands waiting there for me. Or I can upload my own photo, and I might have one like I do today saved on my computer, and I can pull in one of my photos from my trip to the Badlands and add them here. So this one, I'm just gonna, there we go. It fixed itself. So now it's in the right direction. And in addition to adding text, icons, and photos, I can also add video. Now the video has to be video that's saved to my computer or saved to my device. So you have to already have it saved to your device, where the photo you can connect to your drive, or you can search for photos. So here I have this 9-second iPhone snapshot panoramic. I'm just going to choose a couple seconds of it so that it doesn't take too long to upload. And then I'm going to place it right there onto my video. So Spark Video lets you combine all of these things. So icons, images, text, your voice, video. You can resize it. So if you wanted it to be a square, I could resize it so it's a square, which is great if your kids are creating content that's going to be shared on a school Instagram page or something like that. And then I can choose music too. So something like, you know, Paris in the 1920s or medieval times isn't really going to work with this particular one. I could add my own music if I made music in something like Soundtrap, which is super friendly for Chromebook users. Or I could look up and down and kind of say, is this going to be a relaxing thing, a playful thing? Let's try this woodland jam. Right, so this is fun, right? If I want people to go there, that might work. And then I can attach it here. So if you remember, I only added my voice to the very first slide, and I let it linger on these other ones. So let's go ahead and preview what I have so far. Badlands National Park must be added to your summer travel list. So this last slide there, that's just the outro one that I have built in with my brand, right? So I can actually get rid of that if I want to. And then the credits, those are built in automatically with the icon, since I searched for the icon and the picture and the video were mine. I could always add my own and give myself a shout out for taking those pictures if I wanted to. And so all those animations, they're connected to the theme. So if you change up the theme, the way that animates will change. And then as soon as you're finished, you really have two options. The first is just to download it. This will save your movie as an MP4 file, which is nice if you want your kids to keep things offline. Like you don't want it to be posted online with a link. And of course, you always want to know what your kids' permissions are. Let's see. I'll try it one more time. You might want to know what your kids' permissions are, like who said it's okay to share what, right? So you want to be careful of that, of course, when you're doing anything that's going to be published online. So this is the download one. Looks like my Wi-Fi might be a little funky today, but I also could share it as a link. So that's what I'll do instead. So this one, I can share it and publish it as a link. And this will publish it online for everyone to see. So the download keeps it offline, which is good if your kids don't have permission to share things with a link in public, right, online. But this will create a link for us, and it will allow us to post that link anywhere we want. There's actually a button now where you can post anything you make directly in Google Classroom. So you'll see that pop up in a second. I have just the plain old link I could use wherever I want. And then I have the option to actually connect it and post it straight into Google Classroom. If I'm signed in with Google, right, it'll know me already. I'm going to actually copy this link, and I'm going to show you now that Google Slides workflow I was talking about. So imagine all of your kids have made their videos. Where are we? Here we are. Yep. All your kids have made their videos. They have a link to all of them, or they have the file to them, right? Whichever is going to be better for sharing. Then you would jump over to your Google Drive. You go to New and Google Slides, just like you're making any old slide presentation, right? Now, I can't help but have to choose a theme so that it looks nice for us sharing today. Let's go with this one. And so imagine all of your kids were spotlighting different landmarks or favorite places. So we could say these are our favorite places. And then we could add, the date of our project or our class. So we'll just do our class, one of my old class numbers, right? So all of our favorite places. Then I can go ahead and keep adding more slides. So this is actually going to end up being a template that I'll then share with all the kids. So this is where someone would put their name, their favorite place, and then their link. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this, and then I'm just going to paste a whole bunch of these. So in theory, say you have 30 kids in your class, right? You could make one of these presentations, right? So it's our favorite place presentation. You could make one of these presentations just like as a template to use all the time. And you could put all their names in one time, and then every kid would know which slide is theirs, right? So in this case, I'm going to start off and show you what the kids would do. They would put in their name. They would put in their favorite place. And then over here where we made our video, right, we had our share link. I'm going to copy it. And then I'll go back to our document, and then I can put and paste my link right here. And if you use Google Docs all the time, right, you can highlight. Then we can go to our link to reformat it. I can change it up, and maybe the text will say, click here to see my favorite place. And then if the kids really wanted to get fancy with this, right, so we could move, I'm just going to move our text box up a little bit here. They could add maybe something more to this page, like they could go to insert image. Maybe they could upload their own picture. I know I had pictures on my computer, or they can search the web and we can type in Badlands, and then they can pull in one of these images and insert it onto their slide. Maybe they even link this one to go out to the video. So the idea here is that you're creating this Google Slides document that you would then go and share with all of your kids. So once they got into the document, they would know their number, like maybe I'm always number 2, and then they would add their link. They would add their name. They would fill in anything that you wanted them here based on your template. And then you'd have one big shared document where everyone could share their work. Now, if you are ready when everyone's finished, you could then change the sharing permissions so that no one else can go in and make changes once it's like published and good to go. But essentially, this is what you're doing here, right? You're using Google Slides as a way for everyone to share their work in one spot, which could be a friendlier option than having, say, everyone post in Google Classroom if you want it to be a collaborative document where everyone can see each other's, maybe they comment. Or one strategy I often use when sharing this in big groups of people, where we're all kind of looking at each other's, is I'll just have them jump down into the speaker notes and leave a comment down there, so it doesn't end up making comments and notifications all over the document. So someone might write, "Really love what you did here," and type that in down at the bottom so that when someone clicks on their slide, they could see all of those notes down here at the bottom. But of course, you'd want to make sure that that fits with your way of just managing your class and what kind of where you're at in terms of practicing digital citizenship and all of that. So this workflow works with really any of the Spark tools. It's all about grabbing that link. If I had, remember, it's giving me a little trouble, right? If I had downloaded this as an MP4 and had that file saved on my computer, I could always go to insert, right, and add that video file here and someone could play it live. And that way we wouldn't have to publish it online. So it really just depends on what you want to do. So this is a workflow featuring Spark Video, but you could do the same thing with Spark Page, which is the website creation tool. This is one I made with some teachers earlier this week, just on Monday, as an example. So this is one where we were creating just, all about polar bears here. So I could add a subtitle to say, "They are the very best." I could hit the plus sign. Let me see here. Yeah, I want to replace the picture. We'll search for polar bears. I can add this picture in the background. Ooh, looks like it's refreshing for me. Let's see. There we go. I could add this picture, and then I could keep adding all sorts of things to my page. So this is really a website creation tool. So I would have this same thing here. I would share it, publish, and share my link, and I would then get a link that I could post here too. So really up to you what you want to do in terms of being able to share all the student work. It just comes down to making sure that you kind of know what it is that your focus is, what your expectations are when kids are making a movie or a website or a graphic, and then giving them a spot for them to share.
Yeah, I really like I really like how easy it is. It's the interface is very user friendly.
So user friendly. And you'll have kids, depending on the age that you work with, that are looking for more, right? Like they really want to edit the text. They want it to look like this particular way. And they might be ready for something like Adobe Rush. The Rush is new from the folks at Adobe. It was just released this fall. So that like gives a whole nother layer, and you can do it on Chromebooks, right, for video editing. But I love Spark because if we're focused really on content here and we just want a nice way for kids to visually present all these things, and we are ready to go. And then if we're also ready to have conversations about what kind of music is appropriate, what kind of color scheme is appropriate, what connects to your theme, what symbols are going to bring this to life, right? You can have really deep conversations about giving credit, sharing with an audience, connecting with your audience, right? So there's so many layers to what you can do. You can kind of decide where you want to take your kids with it.
I think it does touch on a lot of different areas because first of all, it's easy. Second, I like the fact that you have the recording feature there, so students can narrate their presentation or their slide right there, and then they can control the length of it, so it can stay maybe on 2 slides rather than 1.
Mhm.
And I do like that the credit for the images get inserted automatically, and you can talk to your students about copyright laws and how you search for images that are for public use, for education use. So that is like another that can be an extension of your activity. Yeah, and then
Absolutely.
I do like I do use Google Slides with students, and I allow them to have one slide to
Mhm.
own, and
Mhm.
then they put their content or whatever their link in that slide.
Yeah.
But I just never used Adobe Spark. Like we would just use that slide and share
Mhm.
within that slide. But having the link go to Adobe Spark is a nice tool to incorporate with your kids just because it's just easy. And like you said,
Oh,
K
yeah.
through 12, you can go as easy or hard with it. as easy or simple or difficult with it. It's really, the interface is very nice, and it's nice to have the option to make a web page or a video.
Yeah, and you might give students choice on what feels better for them too. You might differentiate that by yourself by saying, I have a certain level of expectation right now for writing paragraphs for these students. I'm looking for narration to show me what you know from these students. So you have a lot of flexibility for you to use your judgment as to what's going to be, the very best for your kids.
Now, one question is, does it do a video or is it just audio? Like,
So
could the students actually record themselves speaking?
So they would have to record themselves with the webcam on their device, save it as a movie file, and then add it as a video. So it's
Okay.
not going to like prompt them with a webcam the way Flipgrid would, but they could actually take what they've done in a Flipgrid and download it to their device as a movie and then upload it with it the same way I uploaded that clip of me doing a pan with my phone at the Badlands. So all they need is the file, and they could get it really any way that you would record a video of them talking.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not a big deal. And you said it's an MOV file?
So it can be an MOV file. It can also be an MP4 file.
Okay. I like that. I like that it's that flexible,
And
you
I
know?
tend to use it more in the Chrome browser than I do in Safari or than I do even with the iPad or iPhone app, just because of my personal workflow. But if you have kids that are in a Chromebook, Google Suite type of environment all day long, but then they go home and they have an iPad, right? They can actually pick up where they left off. Everything's going to sync when they're on Wi-Fi.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Now, you mentioned in the beginning of the episode that you use it for your blog posts.
Mhm.
So what if you're, in high school or middle school and you're writing a blog? How would you use it as a blog post?
So I use Spark Post, which is the graphic design tool, to make all of the media you pretty much ever see me sharing, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on my blog, everything I make in there, because they have a branding feature. It's really great for schools too, where my logo will automatically pop on that image. My fonts that I like to use, the colors I like to use will automatically go there. So I use Spark Post primarily as a blogger, but sometimes if I have a special event, or if I want just a one pager of something that's not even on my normal website, I'll make a Spark page for that special event and do it
Okay.
that way. So that's one way where a high school student who wants to do something like posting a blog post, they could make their one page on Spark page that features whatever their kind of writing is about. And yeah, they could link all their pages together if they wanted to, but it's primarily thought of as like your one landing page. But I know teachers who have had students each make their own page about something, and then the teacher made a page and put all their links on that one page, so they're all
Okay.
connected that way.
Yeah, so that would make sense to me to have the teacher create something and have all the links in there.
Absolutely.
So you're saying that if with your blog post, your Adobe post page that you create, you download that? Do you
Yeah.
download that as an image or
Yeah.
with your content and then you just put that on your blog?
So I can show you if you like what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead back out to my Spark here. So this is my landing page with all the sort of things that I do. So when you're here, everything is going to be here, your videos, your posts, and your pages. So I did a post on my blog all about teacher gifts recently. So I made a image for it. And I also made a video to go along with it. It's not live yet. It'll probably be live on Instagram tomorrow. But so this is a post that was on my blog yesterday. That was brand new yesterday. It was all about this special competition for coding. So I made this Spark Post graphic. Just taking a second to warm up here for us. I made this Spark Post graphic. Let's see if I can refresh. And what you'll see here is that it has all of the just kind of all of the branding that I typically use, right? It has my logo on it. It has my picture in the background. It has my 2 fonts and colors. Then I download it as a picture file. See, it already is down there. So I download it as a picture file. You can see all the movies I'm working on there. And now this is one that I can add to my blog. So if I go over to my blog page, there it is. This was yesterday's post. So even though my blog is on a WordPress site, I will make my graphics to go along with it. So each of my blog posts has a graphic like this one. And then if I go even to my home page, you'll see down here, it has like the longer version of it too. So I make all of these in Spark Post. And then when I'm about to post a new blog post, I just attach these as the images that go along with it. So I do
Interesting.
all of this within Spark Post because it's so easy with the pictures to add a picture, add your text and have the logo there. And so sometimes I will even, I come back over here, make a video to go along with it. So this is like a sneak preview. It's not going to go live until tomorrow, but I'm excited. I'll show you guys. I'm excited about it. So this is a video that I made that's going to go along with my blog post, all about teacher gifts and teacher gift guide. So you can see down here that this does have my background. This does have my logo on each slide where I got rid of it for the Badlands. And it's one where I talk about some gift ideas for teachers, and I made a video. So this video, I will post in different, platforms. Sometimes I post them when I am on, using Facebook primarily, or sometimes I'll post it when I am doing Instagram TV. So I've been doing more Instagram TV episodes this year, and I will make my videos that connect to a blog post I've done or a special event. I'll either make the cover for them in Spark Post, or I'll add a Spark video to go along with it, just kind of depending on what it is.
That's interesting because a lot of my, like I use Canva for my images for my blog sometimes. And this seems just more, it seems more effortless,
Seamless. It
seamless,
can be
you
really
know?
helpful when it comes to your branding and colors without all the stuff. I know people like Canva. I used to use Canva a lot, but as soon as those branding features came up, I was like $9 a month. Like sign me up. It's going to save me so much time and everything.
Yeah.
It's a little bit cleaner. And I say $9 a month for me, right? I pay. I'm a as a small business, owner, blogger, whatever, however you want to define it. But those premium features you can actually get for free with your kids. All you have to do is if you go to spark.adobe.com, where I was to make those examples, and if you add a /edu, that'll take you to the education page. And on that page, you'll see some instructions for getting your school verified. It's totally free. It's definitely some steps to follow. I was with a school yesterday where we finally made it through all of our steps of verifying a domain and uploading the users and all that sort of stuff, but it's free. It's kind of like where a teacher in a classroom could set up Seesaw all by themselves, no problem, but they can't set up Google Classroom by themselves, right? That comes from your district or your school level. This would come from your district or school level too.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Maybe we can put the link to that in the agenda, because I tell you what, I'm impressed. I didn't think that this tool, I heard that it was really a powerful tool, but the little demo that you showed was really impressive to me because not only can you use it in K-12 environment, but you're using it more as a productivity tool for your business.
Both.
So for
Absolutely.
me, like that's priceless. And to have it be consistent with everything that you're, with your color schemes and your fonts and your brand and even just having it everything be there so quickly. Sometimes you have to have a trade-off, right? So the trade-off is you pay a little, but you get your time back. So it's, you're saving time, but you're spending the money on something that's worth it. And, some people don't mind doing that. Like I wouldn't mind doing that at all, because if I can save time and have a workflow down to help me get my content out there with the kids or with my personal stuff, to me, it's well worth it.
Oh, totally. And with any of these things, you saw me with the video today, right? Where it's an open-ended space. So you can really do whatever you want when you're in there. And so, we, when Ben and I put this book together, one thing we did in the back, there's 15 graphic organizers in the back that go along with the 40 activities, because we really wanted to make sure, just like you said, you could do anything in these spaces, right? That teachers had some support when thinking about what it's going to look like when they jump in, because you do want to have that kind of plan and give kids a space to be creative, but also direct them. And you might have kids using those premium features that we're so excited about, right, as bloggers. to stamp their video because they know what it's like to be a YouTube star because they watch YouTube all the time, right? So there's just all these layers here that you can decide where you want to place more emphasis on.
Right. And like you just mentioned, like the kids can design their own logo and
Mhm.
brand their products in their class throughout the year
Oh, absolutely.
with the premium feature too. So like you said, there's all different levels, there's all different conversations that you can implement here. And it's not just for a technology class. I mean, this can go into an ELA class, social studies class, science. I mean, it's good for any subject area. That's what I feel. A lot of teachers, they say, oh, well, that's not really ELA or social studies, but yeah, well, you can make it into that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just incorporate the content into it, and you make the kids use their creativity, use their tools, and then see what happens. Sometimes they surprise you, you know?
Mhm.
So I agree. I think I'm going to definitely, I think you sold me on it. I'm definitely going to, New Year's coming up,
Oh, yeah.
and this might be something for me to try.
Excited to hear that. I'm doing a webinar next week actually for some folks about it. It's one of those kind of freebie, everyone just jump in type of webinars that I'm super excited about. And it's been really fun to find an open-ended tool that really connects to all the content conversations I have with people, right? Okay, yeah, let's take this strategy, right? And now connect it to the content goal that you have. And, whether it's a video, whether it's a page, whether it's a graphic, right? That just comes back to what are your goals for getting kids talking about things, getting kids curating or capturing. So there's just so much you can do.
Yeah, and even if you think about it for elementary students, it could be like an icebreaker in the beginning of the school year, and all about me,
Yeah,
and have the kids just download it. They don't have to share it online.
absolutely. I think All
So
About Me, now that you're saying that, I'm like, what number is All About Me? I think I want to say they're somewhere up here. Oh, student introduction videos. I always call them All About Me. So that's number 2 on our list here. Yeah, I love
see,
Absolutely. You're right on board with this.
yeah, definitely, I got to get that book. So, all right. Well, thank you, Dr. Monica Burns. I really appreciate your expertise on this. I think it was really helpful. You sold me on it, so I'm going to definitely try it, and I'll let you know what, and how I use it.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll see what I can do. I can put it on my wish list for like my next school year
Mm-hmm.
for subscriptions, and see, what you said. It's free for
Great.
education,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It's free. So I can pass this along, and hopefully, we'll get it, because I can't see why they would deny it if it's free, right?
They're all good at their COPA and all that sort of good stuff too, so you can feel good about it.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're middle school anyway, so we're pretty good with that anyway, with the COPPA rule. But I'm definitely going to add this to my list of things to check out and incorporate next year, and try something new. Because sometimes you just have to change it up and spark it, right?
And yeah, if you're making things or anyone watching along is making things, definitely tag me at Class Tech Tips wherever you share it. I always am excited to see what people are doing and making and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good. My mind's already racing about what I can do with this, for January. So I'm glad that you demonstrated it. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So before we go, let me share my screen.
Hmm.
All right. So if anyone wants to be on the Sweet Talk, you can be a guest on my show if you Google the Sweet Talk, um, and go to the guest tab up top and fill out my form. And I am scheduling for 2019 already. So if you fill out this form, I'll email you as soon as I can. Basically, just showcase any ed tech tip or workflow that you feel comfortable with, so that other people can learn from you and hopefully implement in their classroom as well. So if you'd like to be a guest on my show, fill out that form for me. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at, let me put it in present mode, bit.ly/ the Sweet Talk channel. You can visit my website for older shows at bit.ly/ the Sweet Talk website. And I am also on Podbean and Google Play Music as well. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let me go back. All right, here I am. So thank you very much, Dr. Burns. I really appreciate it. And I got it. I don't know when I'm going to see you again, but next time I see you, I definitely got to get a book signed from you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So maybe I'll see you again at Rider University in May.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good event.
Yeah, so we'll see. But until then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, safe
Yeah.
travels, and get some, R&R as well.
Oh, you too. Absolutely.
It was great having you on. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.